right, we'll start off first in Nigeria. First news is the first place we're going to. Everything is first, so it's first, and it's the first paper. And we will begin with that big story, the big header there. Petrol scarcity era returns. This is one of the most dreaded situations Nigerians actually want to run away from. They do not like it, and guess what? Unfortunately, it's here. Authorities say supply suspended upon discovering excess methanol in product. Many fuel stations shut, long queues all over. How we got to work this morning and how you got to work, well, it's a testimony you might want to share with your colleagues or friends, even schoolmates. Reps summoned 5 ministers, PermSecs, others over audit queries. That's another story to look out for inside of the first news. Noise pollution. Lagos bans use of sound amplifiers in public places. It's about time, everywhere from one noise pollution to the other, and I think it's ripe. Anyway, over 11 billion naira paid for NSAS losses, insurers lament. Over 11 billion naira paid for NSAS losses, insurers lament. You do recall that there was a lot of chaos, but you could read in and find out what actually took place and how they were paid for. Rotational presidency principle still in force. Southern governors insist 2023. And you also have another one. NIMIC portal collapses. Ooh, glitch paralyzes major government websites. Wow. And let's take the last one. Delayed trials. CJN defense brief faults Malami's accusation. You could read all of this inside of First News.
From First News, let's move now to Kenya. We're looking at the Daily Nation. Now, the Daily Nation on page 10, the upper left-hand side, fighting cancer. Now, February is the Cancer Awareness Month, and on page 10, you will get the story that says, New Care Center in Mombasa to ease load at KU Hospital. That's on page 10 from the Daily Nation. Polls, that's what it's saying here. You know, the race is counting down now in Kenya, as you can see, looking at the election that will be coming up in August. What it means, Kalonzo, the unofficial kingmaker, gains more clout. Polls where the numbers are. That's what it's saying. You can see this infographic here. Infographic that you can see. You can see the number of new voters and the total number of voters as at the time of this report. More details can be gotten on page 7 of the Daily Nation. And we also have the president and the deputy president giving it tough. Bring it on, Ruto. Yes, Uhuru. Well, that's on page 4 from the Daily Nation.
Let's move on now to Daily Monitor, away from Daily Nation, and we'll go straight to Uganda. That's where we are. Museveni recalls Candio gives him police job. You recall that Candio and others were police or service chiefs that were indeed dropped at some point when there was a reshuffle, and we brought you that story a few weeks ago. But here, Museveni recalls Candio gives him police job. Something to read. And homes, succulent plants bring positive energy to your home. The reason why you should have succulent plants positioned in your home. Well, you can read all about that. That's got to do with health. But let's look at the big one as well. Torture. MPs pile pressure on government. Torture. MPs pile pressure on government. Well, it's got to do with a story and a demand, whereas the opposition MPs are baying for the head of security minister, Jim Muhwezi, for not checking torture of civilians. Government says torture is not its modus operandi. So that's one that you need to look out for. And on that front page, you can see that man. Well, you could see one person left to write members of parliament as well. They are including, they're adding their voices to this big story, torture, MPs, power pressure on government. Well, we'll take only that from the Daily Monitor.
And to wrap up the newspaper segment this morning, let's head on to Zimbabwe. We're looking at Newsday this morning. Teacher strike. There's an update. Government wields axe, dangles like a carrot. More incentives for civil servants. Now, one of the incentives is a 20% increase on the Zimbabwean dollar salary component for civil servants. And Joe, you need to listen to this. And the government will be covering the fees of teachers' children. 3 of the biological children. The government will be covering the fees of 3 of the teachers' biological children with a cap of $20,000 per child per term. Now you can see that picture there. It says deserted. This is an almost empty classroom in Harare yesterday morning, with teachers saying they will start reporting for duty after government has improved their working conditions. That's on page 2. Just 2 students in a class of probably almost 15. Where you can see the two. Whoa, one seems to be sitting on the table, legs crossed. Well, what a delightful way to have his own day. Also on page 2 here, Zimbo stroking our health system. This is coming from the South African Department of Health in Musina. They're coming out to say there's an influx of Zimbabweans who are seeking treatment, especially maternity services in the country. Well, that's the story from Newsday in Zimbabwe.